The acacia thorn pierces Kesi's calloused palm as she reaches desperately for the last cluster of yellowed pods hanging from the drought-withered branch. Blood wells dark against her weathered skin, but she doesn't flinch. Hunger has dulled her sensitivity to pain. Around her, the East African savanna stretches endlessly, a tapestry of golden grass punctuated by skeletal trees that seem to mock the small band of early hominids struggling to survive another day in this unforgiving landscape. Thunder rumbles ominously overhead, though no rain has fallen for 3 moons. The sky hangs heavy and bruised, pregnant with the promise of storms that never come. Kesi's dark eyes scan the horizon with the practiced wariness of a creature that has learned to read death in every shadow, every rustling blade of grass. Her powerful jaw works methodically as she chews the bitter pods, extracting what meager nutrition she can from this meager feast. Below her precarious perch, her small clan gathers around the gnarled roots of an ancient baobab tree. There's Jengo, the grizzled patriarch whose scarred arms tell stories of countless battles with predators and rivals alike. His mate, Nuru, cradles their newest offspring, a fragile creature whose survival depends entirely on the group's ability to find food and shelter in this hostile world. The youngster, barely 2 seasons old, whimpers softly, his cries a constant reminder of how precarious their existence truly is. The other members of their band, 7 adults and 3 juveniles in total, move with the restless energy of creatures perpetually on edge. They communicate through a complex system of grunts, gestures, and facial expressions that would seem primitive to modern eyes, yet contains layers of meaning that have kept their species alive for countless generations. Every muscle in their compact, powerful bodies remains coiled for action, ready to flee or fight at a moment's notice. Kesi drops gracefully from the tree, her movements fluid despite the exhaustion that weighs on every member of the group. The afternoon heat presses down like a physical presence, shimmering off the savanna in waves that distort the distant landscape. Somewhere in that haze lurk the predators that hunt her kind, the massive saber-toothed cats with canines like ivory daggers, the bone-crushing hyenas whose laughter echoes across the plains like mockery of death itself, and the ancient crocodiles that patrol the scattered water holes with prehistoric patience. But it's not just the predators that threaten their survival. Other hominid groups wander these same territories, and encounters between bands often end in violence as they compete for the same dwindling resources. The delicate balance that has sustained life in this region for millions of years teeters on the edge of collapse, pushed toward catastrophe by a changing climate that shows no mercy to any living creature. Jengo's weathered fingers probe the parched earth, searching for the subtle signs that might indicate underground water or edible roots. His knowledge of the landscape runs deeper than instinct. It's a wisdom passed down through countless generations, encoded in every gesture, every careful examination of soil and vegetation. Yet even his vast experience offers little hope in this season of scarcity. The wind shifts suddenly, carrying with it a scent that makes every member of the group freeze with terror. The musky, predatory odor of a hunting leopard drifts across the savanna, triggering an immediate response that has been hardwired into their nervous systems through millions of years of evolution. Without a word, they begin moving toward higher ground, their movements coordinated with the precision of a well-rehearsed dance. But the leopard isn't their only concern. As they climb the rocky outcropping that offers their best hope of shelter, Kesi notices something that makes her blood run cold. In the distance, perhaps half a day's journey away, a column of smoke rises from the valley below. Not the clean smoke of burning grass, but the thick, dark plume that can only mean one thing. Another hominid band has met with disaster. The sight sends ripples of unease through the group. They've seen such signs before, always followed by the discovery of scattered bones and the lingering scent of death. Whether caused by predators, rival groups, or the countless other dangers that stalk the savanna, these grim markers serve as constant reminders of their own mortality. As the sun begins its descent toward the western horizon, painting the sky in shades of amber and crimson, the group settles into their nighttime routine. The rocky outcropping provides some protection from ground-dwelling predators, but it's far from safe. Every shadow could conceal a threat. Every sound might herald their doom. They huddle together for warmth and comfort, their bodies pressed close in the eternal human struggle against the darkness and all the terrors it conceals. Jengo takes first watch, his keen eyes scanning the landscape below for any sign of movement. His mate Nuru tends to their infant, whose soft mewling sounds seem dangerously loud in the evening stillness. The other adults arrange themselves in a defensive circle, while the juveniles cluster in the center, protected by the bodies of their elders. The night brings new challenges. The temperature drops dramatically once the sun disappears, transforming the sweltering savanna into a place where hypothermia becomes a real threat. Without fire, without proper shelter, without anything but their own body heat and the meager protection of the rocks, they face the long hours until dawn with nothing but their will to survive. It's during these dark hours that the first distant flicker of lightning illuminates the horizon. The electrical storm builds slowly, majestically, like a great beast stirring from slumber. The air itself seems to vibrate with potential energy, making the hair on their arms stand on end and filling their nostrils with the sharp, metallic scent that precedes a tempest. Kesi watches the approaching storm with a mixture of fear and fascination. Lightning has always been a source of terror for her kind, a deadly force that strikes without warning, turning living trees into smoking ruins and reducing the strongest creatures to charred remains. Yet there's something mesmerizing about the way the electrical bolts dance across the sky, illuminating the clouds from within like some cosmic heartbeat. The wind picks up, bending the grass in great waves that roll across the savanna like ocean swells. The storm is moving fast now, much faster than seemed possible when it first appeared on the horizon. Thunder follows each lightning strike with increasing intensity, each boom shaking the very ground beneath their feet and sending small rock slides cascading down the outcropping. Panic ripples through the group as they realize the storm is heading directly toward them. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from the fury that's about to be unleashed. They can only press themselves against the rocks and hope that somehow, impossibly, they'll survive what's coming. The first drops of rain arrive like bullets, striking the parched earth with such force that they send up small puffs of dust. Within moments, those scattered drops become a torrent, transforming the dry savanna into a muddy quagmire. The group huddles closer together, their bodies shaking from cold and fear as the storm reaches its full intensity. Lightning splits the sky with terrifying regularity now, each bolt followed by thunder that seems to shake the very foundations of the earth. The electrical display is both beautiful and terrifying, illuminating the landscape in stark, dramatic flashes that reveal the full scope of the tempest's power. In those brief moments of illumination, the world takes on an otherworldly quality, as if the very fabric of reality has been torn open to reveal the forces that govern existence itself. Then it happens. A bolt of lightning, more massive and brilliant than any that came before, strikes the ancient baobab tree at the base of their rocky shelter. The electrical discharge is so powerful that it seems to turn night into day for a full second, burning the image of the exploding tree into their retinas like a brand. The thunder that follows isn't just sound, it's a physical force that knocks several group members to the ground and leaves their ears ringing with a high-pitched whine. But something extraordinary occurs in that moment of destruction. As the lightning courses through the baobab's massive trunk, the tree doesn't simply explode into splinters. The electrical energy, focused through the wood's natural grain, creates something that will change the course of human history forever. Deep within the tree's heartwood, the lightning's intense heat transforms dead organic matter into glowing embers, the first controlled fire that any member of Kesi's species has ever witnessed. The tree burns with an intensity that defies the torrential rain, its flames dancing and flickering in defiance of the storm's fury. The sight is both terrifying and mesmerizing, awakening something primal in the watching hominids. They've seen fire before, distant grass fires started by lightning strikes, forest fires that consumed vast areas of woodland, but they've never been close enough to study its properties, to understand its potential. As the storm begins to subside, moving eastward toward the mountains, Jengo makes a decision that will echo through the ages. Despite every instinct screaming at him to flee from the mysterious burning tree, he approaches the flames with cautious curiosity. The heat radiating from the fire is unlike anything he's ever experienced. Not the brutal heat of the noonday sun that saps strength and brings suffering, but a different kind of warmth that seems to penetrate his very bones. The other members of the group watch in fascination and terror as their leader extends his hands toward the flames. The warmth that flows over his fingers is intoxicating, driving away the bone-deep chill that has plagued them throughout the stormy night. For the first time in memory, Jengo feels truly warm. Not just on the surface of his skin, but deep in his core, where the cold seemed to have taken up permanent residence. Gradually, one by one, the other members of the group overcome their fear and approach the burning tree. They move with the hesitant steps of creatures exploring an alien world, their senses overwhelmed by this new phenomenon. The crackling of the flames creates a sound unlike anything in their experience, not threatening like the roar of a predator, not warning like the hiss of a snake, but somehow comforting in its rhythmic irregularity. The light cast by the fire reveals their surroundings in a completely new way. Instead of the harsh, flat illumination of lightning or the gentle glow of moonlight, the flames create dancing shadows that seem alive with movement and mystery. Objects that were familiar in daylight take on new dimensions and meanings in the flickering firelight, as if the world itself has been transformed by this miraculous discovery. Young Kesi, emboldened by her elder's acceptance of the fire, reaches out to touch one of the smaller flames, dancing along a fallen branch. The pain that shoots through her fingertip is immediate and intense, but it teaches her a valuable lesson about this strange new force. Fire gives warmth and light, but it also demands respect and caution. It's a tool that can serve her kind, but only if they learn to approach it with wisdom and understanding. As dawn breaks over the transformed landscape, the full implications of the night's events begin to dawn on the small band. The fire continues to burn, fed by the abundant fuel provided by the lightning-struck baobab. But more importantly, they begin to understand that this fire can be controlled, maintained, even moved from place to place if handled properly. Jengo experiments with feeding the fire, adding dry grass and small twigs to keep the flames alive. Each addition teaches him something new about how fire behaves, how it consumes fuel and transforms it into heat and light. The knowledge he gains in these first crucial hours will be passed down to his children and grandchildren, eventually spreading throughout the early human population and changing the trajectory of evolution itself. The psychological impact of mastering fire extends far beyond its practical applications. For the first time in their species' history, these early hominids possess something that sets them apart from every other creature on the savanna. They have harnessed one of nature's most powerful forces, transforming it from an object of terror into a tool of survival. The confidence this brings is profound and transformative, changing not just how they see the world around them, but how they see themselves within it. As the days pass, the group learns to maintain their fire, carrying glowing coals with them as they move across the landscape. The process is challenging and dangerous. A single mistake can result in severe burns or the complete loss of their precious flames, but the benefits far outweigh the risks. With fire, they can extend their active hours into the night, cook food to make it more digestible and nutritious, and create a defensive barrier against the predators that have terrorized them since the dawn of time. The cooking of food proves to be particularly revolutionary. Tough roots and fibrous plant materials that were previously inedible become palatable when roasted over the flames. Meat, when cooked, not only tastes better, but provides more nutritional value and is safer to consume. The additional calories available through cooking allow for larger, more active brains, setting the stage for the rapid evolution of intelligence that will eventually lead to modern humanity. But perhaps most importantly, fire becomes the focal point around which social bonds are strengthened and culture begins to emerge. Gathered around the flames in the evening, the group shares food, grooms each other, and engages in the complex social interactions that define their species. The fire becomes more than just a tool. It becomes the heart of their community, the sacred center around which their entire existence revolves. The knowledge of fire spreads slowly but inevitably throughout the early human population. Other groups, seeing the advantages possessed by Jengo's band, either learn the secret through observation and experimentation or acquire it through the complex processes of alliance, trade, and intermarriage that connect scattered communities across the continent. Each group that masters fire gains a significant survival advantage, leading to a rapid increase in early human populations and the expansion of their range into previously uninhabitable regions. The mastery of fire also accelerates the development of tool-making and other technologies. The ability to harden wooden spears in flames, to crack open tough nuts with heated stones, and to shape bone and antler with controlled heat leads to increasingly sophisticated implements. These tools, in turn, make hunting more efficient and gathering more productive, creating a positive feedback loop that drives rapid technological advancement. As seasons turn to years and years to centuries, the descendants of that small band huddled around their lightning-struck baobab tree spread across Africa and eventually beyond. The fire they carry with them becomes the foundation for all human civilization, the spark that ignites the incredible journey from primitive scavengers to the masters of their environment. The story of that stormy night 2.8 million years ago echoes through the ages. Remembered not in written records or oral traditions, those won't exist for millions of years yet, but in the very DNA of every human being who walks the earth today. We are all descendants of those brave individuals who first dared to reach out their hands to the flames, who chose curiosity over fear and transformation over stagnation. Standing around any campfire today, feeling the warmth on our faces and watching the flames dance in the darkness, we reconnect with that primal moment when our ancestors first tamed the power of fire. In that connection lies the essence of what makes us human, not just our intelligence or our technology, but our willingness to embrace the unknown, to take risks in pursuit of something better, and to share our discoveries with our communities so that all might benefit from the knowledge gained by few. The lightning strike that transformed the baobab tree was a random event, a chance occurrence in an indifferent universe. But the response of those early humans, their courage, curiosity, and ingenuity, was anything but random. It was the expression of qualities that had been building within our species for millions of years, waiting for the right moment to emerge and change the world forever. That moment came on a stormy night 2.8 million years ago, when a small band of our ancestors looked at fire not as something to fear, but as something to understand, control, and ultimately master.